Hello everyone, my name is Valerie, welcome to my new tutorial, and today you are going to learn how to create this very cool scene when we have a simple Illustrator layers moving in a flexible way, and you will learn how you can bend your layers or UI panels in After Effects without using any plugins. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, so what's up everyone? I want to start this tutorial by explaining you the basics of this technique and what layers actually support this function and what layers are not support this function, and what we can do if we do want to this function on layers that are not supported by this one. So let's see what we have here. We have an Illustrator layer, we have a text layer created in After Effects, a shape layer inside with 3 more shapes inside it, and a solid layer created in After Effects as well. So first let's apply this curve or flexible look to the Illustrator layer. So first thing we need to do is to press Ctrl or Command K to enter the composition settings and make sure we are using the Cinema 4D or the advanced 3D. So for this example I prefer using Cinema 4D renderer, so let's click OK. And now to activate it, first we need to convert the layer to a 3D layer. And now as you can see we are using the Cinema 4D renderer. Let's zoom in a little bit and open the layer, and here in the geometry options we will see a property called Curvature. So this will allow us to bend the layer and make him flexible. So now let's actually switch to the costume view to see it better. To improve the look of it, we need to scale up the segment value, but don't scale it too much, okay, because it will slow down your rendering times. Set it to a reasonable number that you will see when your object is already looking okay. Yeah, so the Illustrator layer, pretty easy to do. Now let me show you how to do it with the text layer created in After Effects. Alright, so again I'll convert this layer to a 3D layer, and now if I'll open the layer and open the geometry options, I will actually see different things. I will not see the curvature property here. I will see the extrusion depth. Maybe you're already familiar with it, which allow us to make the layer 3D layer. So on text layers, to be able to use the curvature function, we need to do a bit work. First, I will bring this layer back to 2D layer, and now what we want to do is we want to pre-compose this layer. Let's call it the title, and make sure both are selected. Hit OK, and now I'll enter this pre-comp, and just to avoid having all these empty areas, I'll use the region of interest tool to crop my dimensions. Alright, so now I have a nice small pre-comp, and when I have a pre-comp, if I convert the pre-comp to a 3D layer, I will have the curvature under the geometry options. So now I can also bend this layer in that way. Alright, so on layers that you don't see the curvature function, pre-compose the layer, adjust the size, and then apply the curvature to a pre-comp you just created. Alright, but for solid layers, even if it's not an Illustrator layer and it's a layer created in the After Effects, we actually do have the curvature function. Alright, so just for you to know, solid layer will work okay. We have the curvature function and it's working very good. Alright, so now the last one, the shape layers. When you use the shape layers, the same thing like a text layer. like we have the geometry options, but we only have the extrusion depth. Okay, so if you do want to use the curvature function for this one, so you already know, bring this layer to normal layer, pre-compose it, let's call it shape. Okay, both are selected, hit OK. We can enter the pre-comp, use the region of interest tool, and adjust the size of this pre-comp to fit the design. And now when we have the pre-comp, we actually can convert it to a 3D layer and apply the curvature as we want, and it will work very good, as you can see here. Yeah, so with that said, we are finished covering the basics of this function, and let's start with the tutorial. Alright, so let's start with creating our first composition. We can call it master comp with these properties, make it full HD, and of course in the 3D renderer, let's make sure we're using the Cinema 4D, and this time we will use a design I prepared in Illustrator, a very simple design that you can download in the description below. And one thing I want to mention before we starting is that when you use in general the Cinema 4D renderer in After Effects, don't import very large files or from Figma or from Illustrator or from Photoshop, because it's going to show you a lot of errors like these ones, especially when you don't have a very strong computer. Alright, so to avoid this, just make sure, like, you know, you are using your artboard, click here, and make sure this is a reasonable size of the artboard and not like a crazy pixels, because sometimes you can you know, get something from client or from other artists. So make sure you scale it down to a reasonable stuff. Alright, so now let's jump into After Effects and import the design. So let's drag it to the project. Of course, select composition here and layer size. We want this with separate layers. Now we can enter this pre-comp, and we actually can work inside this pre-comp. Let's just press Ctrl or Command K to change the resolution to full HD. Okay, and now this is what we have. And to start animating it, first we need, of course, to convert the layers to 3D layers. Alright, and now because we're dealing with Cinema 4D renderer and we have a bunch of layers here, we have a small issue here. We get this weird look, and it's because the z-axis of all the layers is the same. So in our case, we will leave the z-axis of the screen as it is. We can lock it actually, and now we can move the UI panels towards the camera, but we don't need to move it too much. It's enough to move it like 1 pixel. So let's change it for all of them like this. Oops, -1, and like this. And now we are good. Let's unselect the layers and press U to close them all. And now let's create a new camera in the scene, and choose the one node camera and 28 millimeters, because we want to animate it in a minute. For now, let's just use the camera to see the entire scene. Let's set the value to 3000, -3000. Okay, great. And now let's create the animation for this layer only, to practice it and to focus on one layer. It's much more easier. And let's isolate them both, and actually change the view to custom view to see the scene from this angle, so we can see what we are doing. So the first thing we want to do is we want to animate the position of this layer. So let's press P, and let's decide that in the beginning of the animation, the layer will be, let's say, somewhere around here, -1000 and -1000. We create a new keyframe at this point. Let's move now 2 seconds forward and bring it back to its original position, which was -1. That's awesome. And now we have this kind of animation. Let's check it out. As you can see, since we are dealing with Cinema 4D renderer, the preview times are awful, so you can lower the quality, or you can go to window and open the preview tab, select your timeline, and then you can make After Effects to skip 2 frames in the preview, which will make the preview times a bit more faster. Okay, or we can also bring it back to normal, and we also can use the draft 3D function. So let's click it and see how it's going to be. So the quality drops a little bit, but the preview times are better. So let's leave it as it is. If you have the grid, you can turn it off here or here, and we can actually see the object behind the borders of the scene, and you can open this one and let's decide how much you want to see this. So in my case, I'll set it to 90. Actually, I love it because I can see it's much easier for me to animate like this. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is to animate the curve animation, make it flexible. And for this, you already know, we need to open the geometry options and animate the curvature. So at the beginning of the animation, the curvature will be 0. And now in the middle of the animation, at second 1, let's set it to higher number. In my case, I don't want it 100, it's too much. I'll set it to 90. And of course the segments, we can change it to 40. It's enough in our case. Alright, so then let's go to the end of this animation, second 2, and bring the curvature back to 0. And let's see what we've got. Alright, this already looks great. What the next thing we can do is we can select the layer, press U to see just the keyframes, and press F9 or FN F9 on Mac to easy ease them, or you can do it from here using the easy ease function. And yeah, it looks great. You can make the animation a bit more snappier. After a few errors and trials with the easing, I found out a nice animation. If we will use the graph editor, like make the position gain speed in the middle of the animation, like this. And now, as you can see, because the timing between the position and the curve is not timed well, we see this stuff going on here. To fix this, we need to time the animation of the curve as well. So in this case, let's make it also start very slow, and at the beginning gain speed, and at the end as well slow toward the end. So it will look like this. Yeah, so you can leave it like this. Alright, so pretty much we're covered the entire thing, and now what is left to do is apply this animation to the rest of the layers. So let's unisolate all the layers and select them all, press P, and start to create the animation. So at the beginning of the animation, it need to be the z-axis need to be -1000. And if I'll press enter, let's see, look at what happened when we change the value by typing it. For some reason, let me know in the comments if it's happening in your computer as well. The y-axis also applied for all the layers like the first layer. I don't know why it's happening. Like, I mean that they are all like in the same position right now. So I press Ctrl Z, and I found out that I need to change it one by one. Like first this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Oops, minus. Yeah, so very interesting if it's only on my computer or in your end as well. So let me know. Yeah, so now let's create the first keyframe for the position here. Let's move to second 2, and again let's make it manually. -1. I'll bring it to the same thing, and of course we need to animate the curvature. So let's use the search bar to search for the curvature property. Let's create the first keyframe here. At second 1, let's set it to 90, and at second 2 let's bring it back to 0. And now we need to apply the curvature segments. So let's search for segments, and we can change it for all without a problem. And yeah, and now let's press U for all the layers. Is the keyframes, and now let's just press P to see just the position keyframes. Select just the position and make a similar animation as we did earlier. If we want to be very precise with the easing, so we can do like this. Like we can press P on all the layers and change the velocity. The velocity is this curvature, is this thing what we are doing. We can change for all of them at once by select them all, hold Alt or Option on Mac, and then double click on it, and then we got the keyframe velocity panel for the position keyframe, and we can set it to 25%, and now they are all will be exactly with the same easing. So it's very nice. And now for the curvature, yeah, let's select them again, all of them, that's not a problem. And make sure you are using the speed graph, and this time we will do it manually. Let's select this like that for all of them, like that, and let's see how that looks. Yes, this looks great. Let's press U to see all the keyframes, because now I want to create some delay between the layers. So in my case, all the layers are structured in the organized way. So I just start deleting the second layer, and I found out the delay look great after 10 frames after some testing. So I move the rest of the layers by 10 frames like this, and that's it. Let's see what we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. So this is the curvy or the flexible look that I was referring to. Yeah, let's leave it like this. And now let's create the camera animation. And before that, let's mark in the timeline where the animation of the UI panels ends, which is at the 3-second mark. So let's select, let's stand here. Let's make sure no layer is selected, and create a new marker. All right, by pressing the apostrophe key. All right, I think this is the name of this key. And now close the layers and create the camera animation. Okay, and for this, let's switch back to the active camera, and let's start creating the camera. So first let's yeah, we'll do it using the position, but before that I actually want the phone like you know, lay down, because I want to create a like zooming animation, and before, you know, rotating the screen, I want all the UI panels rotate with him. So for this, obviously we need to select them and parent them to the screen. And now let's set it for now to minus let's say 80, no, maybe 70, yeah, minus 70, and we will animate this maybe in a second. But first let's start with the camera animation. At second, first, you know what, when we're creating camera animations with the moving objects, it's better to start like from the end to the beginning, because like at the end we know how the design should look. So let's make it. Let's create like the final scene. So in our case, we want this to be the final scene where the camera is in the exact position and the phone is in exact rotation. So like this. Create the first keyframe, and now let's start moving to the beginning of the animation, and let's try to figure out how we want to start this animation. All right, so as we already did, we want to start it at minus 70, and for the camera I want to start it let's say, let's zoom out somewhere, maybe somewhere around here, I don't know. This is very cool, the draft 3D, because I can see where's my objects. So yeah, I think we can start it from here, and let's change it to some rounded value, and let's see how this will look. Okay, so it looks like this. This is not what we want. So now let's move each 1 second, and try to place the camera in some correct position. So let's say in this point in time, I want the camera actually already be let's say, yeah, I want the camera to be here. Okay, something like this. I don't know why, but I love to set it to rounded values. Okay, so it will start like this, and like the first one, the next one. Okay, let's try extend here, and let's place the camera in some other position. Let's say somewhere around here. I don't know. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, and we of course we can also time the rotation of the phone with this, you know, to create something. Yeah, this looks nice. Let's say we want here to be minus 35, no, minus 45, yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think it looks great. Let's see how that looks all together. That looks nice. Yeah, it's okay. I think it's okay. We can you know, go to second 6 and create another keyframe just to move the camera backward a little bit to get this nice continuous zooming out animation. All right. I think it's very good, but as you can see, when the camera is moved, you see here we get some like bulky motion, and it happens because if we go to the right view, we can see the entire scene here, which look very cool. This is our camera, and this is where the bulky movement happening. So this is not this keyframe, this is the keyframe here. And if we want to make it smoother, we can actually select the convert vertex tool, and we can click here once, and then we can maybe click once, and then, you know, let's switch back to the selection tool and adjust this movement. I think we can actually delete this keyframe. I can see it here from this area. Let's see. Yeah, we can delete this keyframe. If you're not sure, you can always work with two views, of course. Like click here, set it to the right view, click here, set it to the active camera, and yeah, we can check it out how it looks here. And I can adjust the angle here like this. Let's see. Let's switch back to working with one view, because After Effects struggling. Let's watch it. Yeah, I think we're done with this, and now we are ready to create some nice final touches. And for this we can first save your project, of course. Click Ctrl S and or Command S, and let's save this. So now let's go back to the master comp and bring this pre-comp here. I prefer to create the final touches like you know, blur and stuff like this on this pre-comp, and not inside the phone where the Cinema 4D activated, because it can make a lot of problems. Here I will create a new solid, and a new solid. Let's color it in black for now. Put it here, and let's apply a gradient ramp effect to it. Gradient ramp like this, and let's move this point here, and let's color this in some nice bright blue color, something like this. Yeah, let's try to change the, yeah, I think this looks better. Yeah, I think it's okay. Now let's because if you want your gradient a bit better, scale up the ramp scatter. Okay, and now because we are using the Cinema 4D renderer, we actually cannot activate the motion blur. You see, we don't have the motion blur here. Not motion blur, depth of field, like the, you know, the blur and the focus areas. For this we can create a new adjustment layer, and we can search for the fastbox blur effect, and let's apply it to the adjustment layer, set it to 20. And now let's create a vignette, but a blur vignette. So let's select the ellipse tool, and while the adjustment layer is selected, double click on it, and now let's invert the mask. Now double click on the mask, let's zoom out, and hold shift and control or command while scaling it down. Yeah, let's say let's scale it a bit more like this. And now to make it look a bit better without hard edges here, let's just expand the feather to 150 or maybe 200. Yeah, and now let's animate the blur. So from the beginning of the animation, let's set it to 20, and at the end of the animation, let's set it to 0. And this is how you can actually create some nice illusion of like a depth of field. Let's make it a blur, change the name to blur. Alright, and this one to BG because it's the background. Hit Ctrl S, And yeah, let's see the animation. Let's stand here, press N, and let After Effects to preview the animation we created. And while After Effects previewing your scene, I want to mention that if you are a total beginner in After Effects or you at a junior level and you still don't get After Effects as you should, then I highly suggest you to check out my online school where I develop an efficient method to learn After Effects from scratch. My online school is your personal roadmap guiding you step by step until you become a skilled motion designer. My method is simple yet efficient, focusing on a structured approach to mastering After Effects and combining a unique teaching method you will never experience in other courses. So give it a try, I'll leave the link below so you can check it out. Alright, I think it looks nice, but in my opinion the UI panels moving too quick and the easing is too much extreme for this. So I'll just enter the pre-comp and I'll select all my UI panels, press U and select all the keyframes I have on them, these layers, and press F9 to bring the easing of the animation to regular. I think it will look a bit better, like a bit more soft animation movement. Yeah, I think it looks much better this way. And with that, we have finished the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, then like the video. And if you want to make your life a bit better, then scroll down a little bit and you will see a button named subscribe. So click on it right now and I promise you your life will be much better. Thanks a lot for watching and I see you in the next one.